Good morning, Pride League. This is your champion, Disabled Vigilantes. Now, it's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a dope roster to step to, step to, step to. You know what I mean? But let's just be real. The draft happened. We got the first game of the regular season tonight. Get your Eagles players, get your Falcons players on point. Now, let's really think about what's going on right now. The biggest thing is your champion gave away his two workhorse RBs. Le'Veon Bell, who hasn't reported to camp yet. That's interesting. But he's gonna play. He's gonna sign that. It's a lot of money not to play, to do the game you love. But, he might be listening to that Colin Kaepernick ad and be like, just do it, baby. Just hold out. Who knows? We'll see how that goes. And then I gave up Todd Gurley. Now, the two recipients of those players, their teams are marketably better, whereas mine has gotten worse. I mean, you don't have Todd Gurley, you don't have Le'Veon Bell. You can't say your team has gotten better, right? But what I probably can say is that my team has gotten deeper. This time last year, I knew without a shadow of a doubt I was going to the playoffs. And once in the playoffs, there might have been some, okay, this could happen, that could happen. But once it was all said and done, there was really very little doubt that I was going to be hoisting this bad boy up, and doing what I do best. And that's win fantasy football games. So, is there any team that I feel like that about at this stage of the game? No. No team has as dominant of a roster as I had last year anywhere close, right? And, who knows? Maybe some of these teams can have a wide receiver one be the top two, two of the top RBs in your. It's just not going to happen. So I don't have that kind of confidence about any of the teams this year, including my own. If anything, I'd say my team is around third best. I don't have any draft grades to replicate that. This year is my year to bask in the limelight of just being the champion all year. Those that aspired to the magnificent scores that I put in. But we'll go through some of these rosters just to take a look. I mean, first and foremost, I give myself a B. And that's because my team would have been markedly better due to the poor drafting that you all had if I'd have just kept Bell, Gurley, and Hop and then see where my chips fell. Experiment failed on my part, but it doesn't mean my roster ain't still good. I still got my Houstonians, Hopkins, Watkins, and fucking Lamar Miller. Now, granted, Lamar Miller is a little older, but he did lose a little weight. I just hope the man can stay healthy and get me somewhere between that 10 to 15 point range a game. Instead of the average 20 points my running backs were gathering, I would just like a total of 30 points from both backs would be nice. And the rest of my team will take over. Speaking of which, we still got Travis Kelce on the squad. And then we went with Josh Gordon. It was kind of a flyer, but the man's an animal. So I just like animals on the squad. Speaking of animals, once Devontae Parker gets his finger patched up, I think Tannehill has a chance to push the Patriots in that division. I think they can smell it. I think they can feel it. So I think the Dolphins, who I got Devontae Parker and Danny Amendola, because I really feel that the Dolphins might actually have a chance to push for a wild card spot, if not the division. Now, I got some rookies, DJ Moore and Sony Michel. These are just future picks. Who knows what they'll break out or what's predicted for them. If anything, these guys will be cut, but who cares? My team, I give it a B. Next, let's go with the number 2 of the league last year, Classy Strippers. Now, Classy Strippers has done much with nothing. However, his roster is as explosive as anybody's this year. We got Cooper, Hill, Cook. I gave the guy an A for what he had to work with his keepers and what he was able to accomplish throughout the draft. It was a market improvement. But granted, he's going to be in a little tougher division. Won't have those newbies to beat up on anymore. So let's see if he can get a better record to get in the playoffs. I think he could. Next, we got Bull City. Now, Bull City, recipient of Le'Veon Bell. Now, if he can get Bell and Johnson on the field at the same time, it's going to do some serious damage. But he's got Cam Newton as well. I like Bull City's roster. I think it's probably the closest to mine. He just needs his wide receivers to ball out like, D-Hop would or anybody else. That's his minor weakness, is his wide receiver crew. He's got a tight end that's capable of just dominating the game. Bull City has an A, and it's the closest that looks like my team last year. Oh, them Jack boys. What is this? Eric Chapman. I'm glad to see people coming in here and changing up, getting some personality, making this shit your own. So, Eric Chapman, what we got here? I think you were on auto draft for a lot of this, and I'm sorry if I just ghosted you in the group me there. But when you get to the point where it's either me or you, I'm not gonna lie to you, brother. Choosing me most of the time. Even though I may seem as customer service friendly or whatever, it was like moments before the draft. And even when we got you signed in, I knew there was gonna be some minor hiccups because of timeliness, but it's all a matter of importance. So I wish you had gotten into the draft client, downloaded the app if you needed to, like I suggested. And, maybe we could avoid those problems. But auto draft got you somewhere in that B+ range, brother. You got Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey, and those were some solid guys to go with. Your third keeper, I really don't even give a crap about. It was something minuscule and arbitrary. But for the most part, auto draft kept you in this thing. Grabbed you Kirk Cousins and Fitz. I thought Fitz might fall to me, but apparently auto draft values him just as high as I do. So good on you there. I don't know. The team is solid, and given some situations that might occur, you might pose a big threat out of all of the newcomers that are down there in that division. We got another new guy. Give me money. Yeah, sure, Ashi, sure. Now, his team, Saquon Barkley, really definitely had the first pick, his first selection in the draft, choosing correctly with Saquon. Guy's going to be a monster for a decade. So, the rest of the team, minor problems. Devontae Adams could have a big year. Mike Evans leaning toward probably not having a big year, but an okay year. He's probably gonna, get you by on some weeks. I gave your squad a B. It's okay, not incredibly great. It really just depends on if these big names can produce for you, because your depth is kind of shallow. Next, we got somebody else that needs to change it. Like, I think Down Goes Frazier might be the worst name in the league right now. Like, we put up a poll and we just said who's got the worst name. I'm almost 100% Down Goes Frazier would have the worst name in our league right now. And we've got some pretty horrendous names. But the guy has decent players. He's got A.J. Green, Jimmy Graham. I think the draft really did well for him. I'm leaning toward this A-. He's got rookies that with potential growth. I'm just seeing a lot of question marks, like at the quarterback position, and it's just, we'll see. This team could be really, really good, or this team could be really, really shitty. It reminds me of Aaron Hill's team last year. Had some nice, big, splashy names in it. Aaron Hill did his best to try to manipulate, some trades. But Down Goes Frazier might get my Aaron Hill award this year, simply because the names look fine. They're just not going to give him what he needs to win the games. Chicago Chalupas, my rival, 2 years running. Now, this man made some moves throughout the year that I got. Like, I can't believe this man now has OBJ and Antonio Brown. Now, given the injuries of OBJ and the age of Antonio Brown, as we get older, our bodies tend to say, nah, we don't do that no more. And we'll see if I mean, it happened to Jordy. Like, when Jordy had that horrible injury, it happened to several, aging wide receiver. And as Antonio Brown gets up there, his risk for injury just gets higher and higher. The man's a monster, physical beast. I don't wish him ill or anything. I love watching Antonio Brown just embarrass defenders, and that's coming from a defender. But when I watch him play, it's mesmerizing. So, but let's just say Chalupas has the running back version, the wide receiver version of my running back tandem. I mean, OBJ comes back to form and gets significant looks and touches. This could be an incredible thing. The only problem, the reason why it works better for running backs and wide receivers is those running backs are going to get their touches. Targets are a little bit less. Like, a running back can get 20 to 25 touches easy. Whereas a wide receiver getting targets, 14 for a wide receiver is a lot of targets. Granted, our system of scoring, wide receivers probably do benefit the most out of our scoring system. So this was a risque but smart play. So, I'm not mad at him. Antonio Brown, OBJ in your corner. He's got James Conner. He's like, I got week 1. James Conner's going to go off. I feel him. I like where his team is. You got Marshawn Lynch, Russell Wilson, something to prove here. Stephon Diggs. The team is nasty. I give him an A+. His team is overall good, and his depth isn't awful. And it's something to trade with, and plus he's going to be working the waiver wire. He's probably my favorite to win the division, with me included. So, good on you, Chicago Chalupas. That's a nasty team, nasty trade. Way to manipulate the system and get the team that you want. The team that you have is incredible. Now we got wrestling boners. This is cool. At a time I had named my team the Fear Boners for the league. So wrestling boners is like a short step, especially if you understand where it comes from. Most of you don't. So I'm just going to leave it there. It's just a little inside joke. If he wants to tell you where it comes from, so be it. But it is a horrifying photo, and I'm giving that man the match every time. He's not going to get me in no Roman Greco hold and be like, hold the match, I'm coming. You know what I mean? No, we're not going there, okay? As far as his team goes, this man has a dynamic running back duo that's definitely going to have massive touches until one gets hurt, both get hurt, or one gets suspended for, sexually assaulting a Venus flytrap. Either way, Ezekiel Elliott, Leonard Fournette, Keenan Allen, Marquise Goodwin, but then it starts to taper off, right? He's got Mark Ingram in reserve. That's going to give him 3 nasty backs coming late game if all those guys can stay healthy. He's also got Chubb, who I think that will also be a wonderful running back, like towards week 7 and week 8. He's going to have a lot of trade bait here, and I think he's going to need it considering Alshon Jeffrey is pretty much out. I don't know if he's going to be able to hold Alshon Jeffrey in that IR spot, but it would be nice if you placed the guy in the IR spot. He could never return. Like, you couldn't move the IR spot. That shit would be hilarious. So, we've got some talent on this team. He drafted well. I'm giving him an A because I like his running back tandem. I like where Luck is in the stage of his game. He's just gotta remember that the game has changed since he's been gone and just become a new student of the game. I hate Andrew Luck, but I think he's got one of the best arm talents in the league. He just doesn't have that Aaron Rodgers' instinct. He's got the incredible talent of those guys, but Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady's is preparation, and Aaron Rodgers is foresight and instinct. That's what separates those guys. We'll see if Andrew Luck can become one of those guys that just has it, and it's like second nature, or and that's just the only thing I haven't seen from Andrew Luck. Moving on, let's go with unfuckwittable. Aaron Hill, unfuckwittable. I like the name. It's cool. I like it. Unfuckwittable. So we'll see if you can be unfuckwittable. Oh, I do like it. Good name. Good name. It rolls off the tongue. How did you know you could just manipulate me after giving you years of shitty reviews on your name? You come in week 1 and say, I got you, Jake. I got you, nigga. So now we got Ben Roethlisberger, Joe Mixon, and Kareem Hunt on this team. I like the wide receivers. I think Chris Hogan's going to be Tom Brady's number 1. I believe that. And Gronk, second to Gronk, I think he'll get more looks, more targets. I think he's developing nice rapport with Brady. Carson Wentz coming back after the injury to be another person to switch in your quarterback situation is the only thing that might keep you from winning games. You got some nice compliments. I like Christian Kirk. Actually, I love Christian Kirk. I think if the Arizona Cardinals utilize him, it'd be a really nice, really good pickup. But I like your running backs. They're young. They're hungry. We'll see if they can be unfuckwittable. Yeah, I like it. Okay. It's good draft. If I didn't give you a grade, fuck it. Now we've got the Pappy. Now let's see what you got, Tick. Let's see what you got. You got Goff, Gurley, Tevin Coleman. The wide receiver grouping is okay. I think you got something. You probably got enough to compete. Gurley, if he's anything like he was last year, he could give you this. But you need a supporting cast where he doesn't have... I mean, the way I use Todd Gurley... Let me break down some advice. The way I use Todd Gurley was like a cushion. Like, it was like... It's like mating. And you're at that climax point, and she's already had like 9, 10 orgasms. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know what I mean. But anyway, so you got an option. You could either dress her up, or you could put the makeup on her face. Todd Gurley was my makeup on her face. If you get what I'm saying. Makeup on her face. So anything that Todd Gurley did was just icing on the cake or makeup on her face. You know what I mean? And it just made everybody feel better. And it was just like, wow, that's fantasy greatness. You have fantasy greatness on your roster. I'm kind of curious to see what you do with it. I think of all time, Todd Gurley is my favorite fantasy player ever. So giving him up was hard for me, and I never should have done it. So with that being said, I mean, it's going to be hard for me, but I'm not relinquishing this thing just yet. Know that. Let's go with flawless victory. I do believe he got last in the league, and with this OBJ trade, time will tell. Time will tell if this man has thrown in the towel officially thrown in the towel. But now he's got Aaron Rodgers and Melvin Gordon. He's got that Irish jig dancer, Collins. I think that's him. He's got T.Y. Hilton. He's got Andrew Luck back. And the only real downside is he's in a monster division with, Fluffy and fucking Chalupas and myself. That's going to pose a problem. We're almost at the 20-minute mark of this video. I give you including that trade, I think you gave your team the depth you need to score 135 plus a week to T-Bone. I really do. B plus. B plus. And last but not least, Lazy Pugs. Now, Lazy Pugs did something last year when getting Michael Thomas to try to, get that Brees-Thomas connection. And a lot of people think Drew Brees might actually win the MVP this year. And the only way he wins the MVP is if Michael Thomas gets somewhere between 15 and 25 touchdowns. Now, he took a hit in the draft, which led me to this odd experiment of getting 2 second-round picks, vice just 1 extra 4th last year. I think there's some kind of dimensional bubble where I maximized and minimized the profit gain. So this year, experiment bad. Last year, my experiment was good. Ended up with one of the best fantasy football teams of all time ever. So let's look at Lazy Pugs before we but just know that I took a hit when I took Lev Bell, and I took a little roster hit, and I felt it. But the following year, I was able to get Bell, Gurley, Hopkins, Kelsey, and all this other stuff. This might be Pugs' leap, his leap. So he's got Drew Brees, of course. He's got Michael Thomas. What did he put around? He's got Zach Ertz. That's my Travis Kelce, right? That's pretty nice. He's got Dion Lewis. Now, Dion Lewis, we would consider would be his Gurley, but unfortunately, I just don't feel that happening. He's also got Rex Burkhead that could have a good year. He needs that running back. What if Frank Gore was his Todd Gurley and got like damn near 2,000 yards, all-purpose yards? But that's the difference. You wanted to take that hit and then the following year bounce back. And is this team better? Of course it is. It's way better than it was last year. So I give him a B+. I think everything's going. Now, the video is going to be super long because I also want to do my predictions. I can't give y'all, can't let you leave without my predictions. All right, so we got Disabled Vigilantes versus Give Me Money. I'm not going to say gimme. Give Me Money. Who do I have winning that game? Fucking, he's a new guy. He's got to prove to me that he knows what the fuck he's doing. And as far as right now, he drafted well enough that he very well could beat me. But you heard it here, folks. He ain't doing it. Give Me Money takes the L. Hella L's. Next, we got Unfuckwittable versus I'm the Pappy. Now, can Aaron Hill knock off another new guy? With this being said, I'm giving it to Unfuckwittable because I like the name now. I like the name. He's got experience in this league. He knows what he needs to do. These young bucks, they're gonna have to show me. Show me. Who we got left? Bull City, Wrestling Boners. I don't know if you want to put that bull in a Greco-Roman hold, but this is gonna be the power of Bell. Bell plays minutes. I give this to Bull City. Bull City has Bell on the bench. I give it to Wrestling Boners. I think the Wrestling Boner puts makeup all over that bull's back. Next, we got chalupas and strippers. Chicago Chalupas believes that he's the second best team in the league last year. He believes that in his whole and heart. But Classy Strippers won the money and got the title of second place. Let's see who deserves to win this. Now, I'm going to go with Classy Strippers pulling off the upset here. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, truth be told. But I will be rooting for him. And I think his roster is strong enough, explosive enough to compete with Chicago Chalupas. Eat a dick, Chicago Chalupas. Eat a dick. Next, we have Down Goes Frazier, worst name in the league, versus Dem Jack Boys. And, you know, that's not a great name, but at least it's something different than that fucking shit that was up there previously. You know what? I'm giving it to them Jack boys. I think auto draft here. Uh, he's got his own personal views, but that auto draft, that's it. It's key. It's no prejudice, no bias. It's gonna give you the best player, regardless of your affiliations and associations. I like auto draft, and to find myself sometimes, you know, playing even a little bit better. But then again, you didn't get to use your intuition of who might be a sleeper. It's kind of a two-way street. But for the initial weeks, the month of September could be yours. It's how you play after September when you got to be on the free agent wire. You gotta be bidding. You gotta be, you know, saving your money so that if you get to grace the playoffs and actually become a champion like myself, that's where it comes. I'm really sorry. Nobody likes this NFL.com client, but it's the only place that has that fully customizable draft board that we like to do when we're trading picks in the free agency. But I give it to you, Jack boys. I think you got it, man. Now let's see if you can be an owner and make the necessary moves to keep your team at the proverbial top. I think you probably got the highest projected total to score, and it's just unbiased, unfiltered. These guys should perform. Good luck on you. Lazy Pugs versus Flawless Victory. I really think Flawless Victory is going to have this Browns effect. I don't think he's going to win a whole lot of games. And he's got Aaron Rodgers and all that. Lazy Pug's team is vastly improved, like consistency-wise. I give it to Lazy Pugs. I just don't see Flawless Victory's going to have to shake off this Browns effect. I don't think you go from worst to first, especially in the division that we're in. And it's going to be tight. So I give you my predictions. I gave you these stupid draft grades. I'm here in the morning, bright and early, to give you what you need for the rest of the day. Good luck to all those involved, with the exception of Ashy, Ray, Charles. Fuck you, Ashy. Hope you lose, and I hope your RB1 gets gonorrhea of the mouth. Now, please enjoy the best time of the year. September's here. I bid you adieu. Good luck.